and we're actually joining with an organization that's organizing what's called Snake Week, where all across the country, different facilities with reptiles are doing different special events surrounding snakes. So I've got a few extra props with me that we don't normally have during our talks, and I have you all on Facebook Live watching me too. Hopefully you can see and hear me okay, because my lavalier mic didn't work, but here we go. So to start off, I figure I should tell you what kind of snake I have on my arms right now. This is a Dumerul's ground boa. His name is Repeat, because we have one named Pete. That name was already taken. And this species is native to Madagascar, where they grow about 4 to 6 feet on average. They ambush in the forest, in the litter, leaf litter, wait for little critters to come by. And since they're from Madagascar, their diet does include lemurs. But that's okay, because adult lemurs can also eat juvenile Dumerul's boas, so it goes both ways for them. So yeah, I'll let the viewers at home get a good look at Repeat here. So since I'm the first talk of Snake Week, I thought I should probably start with what is a snake exactly? I mean, we have a general sense of what a snake is. It's a noprope, a danger noodle, a boop snoot, a stay away, a cutie pie, whatever you think. But snakes are a very unique type of animal, and they're among the more notable types of reptile out there. So, bear with me in my fancy, state-of-the-art outdoor PowerPoint. So snakes do have a few qualities that make a snake that are universal among them. Because they're a reptile, they have all the conditions of a reptile. The first one being scales. They do have these nice keratin plates that cover their skin just like other reptiles do. And so that also, it adds protection, but it also means that to grow, they will shed their skin. And yeah, all reptiles have these. Now, among the snakes, just like other reptiles, they are also ectothermic. And that is the scientific way to say cold-blooded. Now, when we say a reptile is cold-blooded, we don't mean that they're cold. This guy does not feel cold to me like a refrigerator does. He feels cool. But that's not because he's cool or making cold. It's just because I'm the one making heat. And he is not. So a cold-blooded animal, or an ectotherm, is an animal who does not produce their own body heat. So in order to control their body's temperature, they have to move into areas that is the appropriate temperature for them. Hence, we see reptiles basking in the sunshine. And so they have to move from sun to shade or water in order to vary their body temperature, but that means their temperature can raise and fall much more drastically than ours can. Not fast, but their body temperature can be a range, whereas we warm-blooded mammals, we really need to stay within a pretty close window of temperature or we're in trouble. So to keep our bodies there, some of you all are taking advantage of it. If you're sweating, blowing some air on it will help cool your skin. And if you're cold outside, you start to shiver and shake to give yourself more heat to stop your body temperature from lowering. But for a reptile, it's more about being in the ideal environment. So that's why we see more reptiles in warmer areas of the world, but not always. Snakes are actually found on every continent, of course, except Antarctica, and with a few exceptions of some major islands, including places like Ireland or New Zealand. Those places are lacking snakes. But otherwise, snakes are pretty widespread, and they can go fairly far north and south away from the equator. Many reptiles are adapted to cooler habitats. Of course, when it gets too cold, they have to do things like find a warm den or a space to hide in. And they can enter a state of dormancy as well to protect themselves from the cold and to use less energy. So they're found in lots of places around the world. Now for snakes, now we start to break off into snakes away from the other reptiles. Snakes are legless. That's pretty universal. There aren't any snakes that have any legs sticking out. And like the other reptiles, They are an amniotic reptile, which means, unlike us who have placental birth, they have separated babies that each have their own amniotic sac. Whether they birth that whole membrane or they create an eggshell and lay the egg itself can vary, but that's actually coming up in a talk tomorrow. So if you all want to tune into Facebook Live tomorrow, you can hear all about snake reproduction and get into more detail with that. All right, so snakes have been around a long time. The oldest fossil record of snakes was back in the Cretaceous period, 95 to 70 million years ago. Now, a lot of people know about Titanoboa, the big monster 40-foot snake whose fossils we found. Titanoboa actually isn't the oldest fossil record of a snake. It's just a very popular one. Titanoboa, we think, emerged in the Paleocene era, which was a little bit sooner. And then, since Kentucky Reptile Zoo is very focused on venomous snakes, venom actually appeared at the borderline of the Cretaceous and Paleocene eras, so it's been around for millions of years. But today, snakes are very diverse. Now, aside from not having legs and a few other physical details, snakes start to get very diverse amongst themselves. There, depending on who you ask, are a little over 20 different families of snake. Now, most people are very aware of 5 families that make up the majority of snakes. You have pythons, boas, vipers, so everything from your true vipers like puff adders and gaboons to pit vipers and your copperheads and rattlesnakes. Then you have elapids. The elapid family are your cobras, mambas, taipans, and coral snakes. And then you have a very big group called colubrids. Colubrids are a lot of your non-venomous snakes, especially here in the U.S. So rat snakes, cane snakes, milk snakes, garter snakes, hognoses. It goes on and on. There are very many. Now, this guy would be in the boa family. But all in all, there are about 4,000 different species of snake in the world. Only 600 of those roughly are venomous, though. So if that gives you some comfort, there you go. Speaking of venom, a lot of people are a little weary of snakes. Some people are genuinely terrified of snakes. But that's coming up on Thursday. So if you want to learn more about the fear of snakes, tune in then. But there is a genuine concern of snake bite in the world. People do inevitably run into snakes and have interactions with them. In the United States, we have about 7,000 to 8,000 bites annually by venomous snakes. However, we have good infrastructure, we have good hospital treatment, readily available anti-venom, and the snakes that do bite us here, their venom is not as medically significant. I would say still very serious. Go to the hospital, absolutely. But overall, only about 5 people per year in the United States die of snake bite. When you zoom out to the global scale, though, and you start looking at those circumstances that make our numbers low, such as infrastructure, availability to anti-venom, the significance of the venom that people are getting bit with, the number starts to grow. So there's actually about 4.5 to 5.5 million bites every year from venomous snakes, and that's just from what we know in records. There's still an unknown amount that perhaps don't go to the hospital and therefore don't get marked. And then of those, you have about 80,000 to 140,000 deaths per year worldwide from snake bite. So that, on a global scale, is very significant. And the World Health Organization has actually classified snakebite as a neglected tropical disease. So they give that to diseases that have a very significant, thank you for taking my serious talk and making it silly. So, and sorry for my feedback. So a neglected tropical disease is something that requires extra attention, whether that be research, outreach, or finding solutions. So the WHO has looked at these numbers of snakebite deaths and have qualified snakebite as one of those things that deserves added attention from experts. And we're actually very proud to say that our co-director, Kristen, is on the advisory board for snakebite from the WHO. So we help with our expertise there as well. Now, I said snakes are pretty diverse. They come in lots of colors and not shapes. The shape's pretty standard. And sizes. So, I said these guys get to be about 4 to 6 feet. Now, the longest snake in the world is what you see on the ground. I know you at home can't see it from end to end, but I have marked out 22 feet on the tape measure, which is a fine average size of the longest living species of snake, the reticulated python. And for those of you here who have been in Giants, you have seen a 12-foot reticulated python in our Giants exhibit, and you all watching at home could come see it too if you want. So that is the longest species of snake. Now, the shortest species of snake I find fantastically comical. It's the Barbados thread snake, and they get 4 inches long in adulthood. So, snakes really come in a very wide variety. All colors as well. This one has excellent camouflage to brown leaf litter. But as you all have seen through our exhibits, you might have seen snakes that were bright green. You might have seen snakes that were red. Snakes that were blue. Most of them are brown. That is a pretty smart color to be out in nature. But there is a fantastic, beautiful array of snakes through this world. And they are all very important animals. Now, snakes are important to nature because of what they eat. They eat a lot of rodents, though their prey can be just as varied as their sizes and colors. Most snakes eat rodents or small mammals, but you can have snakes that eat anything from bugs, lizards. They can eat different species of small mammals. They can eat birds. They can eat eggs. There are some that are specialized just eating snails. There's a large variety of foods that snakes will eat. But the fact that many snakes eat rodents is a significant aid to nature and to us as well. Because, of course, we consider rodents a pest. And if we have an already built-in pest control system in nature, then we don't have to deal with the effects of rodent overpopulation, which can be anything from food shortages to disease spread to simply loss of funds from the damage caused by rodents, which in the U.S. can be in the billions of dollars each year. So snakes are a very important animal to exist in the world. Now, those venomous snakes I mentioned earlier, they also do something that helps people quite a bit because venom can be used in medicine. Here at the Kentucky Reptile Zoo, we have a few species whose venom we are providing directly for different projects, including our Russell's viper venom that is used in a diagnostic test for lupus called the dilute Russell's viper venom time. We also provide South American rattlesnake venom to people who are producing treatments for people who suffer from non-small cell lung cancer. So venom has been used in research for any number of diseases. The very first ACE inhibitors produced were made from snake venom as well. So there's a wide array of human ailments that snake venom has been applicable to, and that's just this far. We're still studying it, and we're still learning more. And not only are we learning more about venom, we're learning more about snakes as well. It's also useful to learn about snakes and the way they move through the world. Not only can it help us as we interact with nature, but I think it's also very good because snakes are such a feared animal that the more we know, the easier it is to understand them, to quell our fears, and then in turn, we can help them as well. So I'm very happy to be the inaugural talk of Snake Week, but I'm definitely not the last. Every day this week at 3 o'clock, we're going to be live streaming one of these talks, which I hope you all have seen and heard just fine out there on Facebook land. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about snake reproduction. On Tuesday, we'll discuss mimicry among snakes. On Wednesday, we'll zoom in on king snake ecology. As I said, Thursday, we'll talk about ophidiophobia, the fear of snakes. On Friday, we'll talk about symbolism and culture surrounding snakes because there is so much beautiful symbolism that we've come up with surrounding snakes, not all of it good for the snake's reputation, but it's interesting. And then on Saturday, we're going to talk about ball python morphs and their relationship within the pet trade. So I hope all of you here have enjoyed listening and getting a better grasp of what exactly is a snake. It's not a scary rope. It is a beautiful creature with an important role in this world. I hope you all out there at home have enjoyed it as well. So thank you very much. One more zoom in for you guys. Ooh, say goodbye, repeat, wave your tongue. Good job.